Hello, everybody, welcome. Rosa's like investigator, hello, Everybody, welcome. Rosa's like investigator. So, um, let's get started. Let's do the protection first. I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good and on the good, and so it is. So now we're going to start. We're going to talk about Sergey Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, who has been supposedly or allegedly sidelined by Putin. And I don't know that it's even allegedly because it's true that he didn't show up to an important meeting. And this is significant because Lavrov is a huge supporter of, not supporter, a huge member of Trump, Putin's inner circle. And he's been with Putin for so long. And he's one of, like, even though he's obviously a horrible propagandist, he's actually really intelligent. So he's somebody who, it's a loss for Putin, I think. So, okay. So, all right. So, okay. So let's see. Okay. So I'm going to get started. Uh, okay, so let me go get the news and I'll be right back. Okay, so here, Kremlin denies growing rumors of Sergey Lavrov's ouster. Completely untrue, insists Vladimir Putin's spokesperson as chatter builds about the veteran foreign minister. Now, what's interesting, like it's in political, right? It's not, at first I saw this online and there were other publications that seem serious, but this is, right, a much bigger deal. It's escalating, right? And here, so a top ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin said Friday that media reports about Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov falling out of favor are completely untrue. Veteran diplomat Lavrov remains in his role. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov insisted during a briefing to journalists. The Moscow Times, an independent outlet based in the Netherlands, reported Thursday that Putin has sidelined Lavrov and the minister had disappeared from the public eye after the U.S. abruptly canceled a proposed Budapest summit with Russia. Fueling rumors that snowballed on social media, Lavrov was not present in the Kremlin on Wednesday, when Putin said he was considering a resumption of nuclear weapons testing. According to Kommersant, a Kremlin-linked business outlet, Lavrov was absent from the meeting with prior agreements. According to the Russian Foreign Ministry website, Lavrov's last public appearance was on October 28th, when he took part in the Minsk International Conference on Eurasian Security in the Belarusian capital. The 76-year-old will also not lead the Russian delegation at this year's G20 summit, though he normally fills the role. The Kremlin said this week that the deputy head of Putin's administration, Maxim Oreshkin, will represent Russia at the summit in Johannesburg later this month. The Financial Times reported late last month that the U.S. decided to cancel the Budapest meeting about the war in Ukraine after a call between Lavrov and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio because of the Russians' compromising posture. Lavrov has been a close ally of Putin and has led Russia's diplomatic arm for 21 years. Okay, so, okay, I'm going to stop share. Okay. So, there was something else. Now, let me just show you something else here because this is the source they were talking about here. Moscow Times. Putin sent Lavrov into disgrace after the collapse of the summit with Trump. Now, this is a Google Translate thing. Obviously, I don't speak Russian, but that's like it immediately translates. Okay, it's not the original, in other words, because it may sound a little weird. Russians. Okay, that's right. Fallen out of favor. That's right. So nothing new here, but right, this is that the article doesn't have anything new that I hadn't already read. But let me ask, let me do the protection again. I think I did. If I didn't, it doesn't hurt to do it again. Or if I did, it doesn't hurt to do it again. So I like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good and only the good, and so it is. So, so I'm going to look at that. So what is this story? And by the way, I did the cards. I'm going to talk about it later. But what is going on here with Lavrov? So I see this image of Putin and Lavrov talking, and Lavrov has his hands over like on a desk, and then Putin comes and hammers the fingers like he's screaming. It's a form of punishment because Putin is. It's like he's not. Putin himself is not screaming, but he's like this because it tells me that the Trump administration has not changed the narrative. Like they were going in a certain direction, then it changed, and he has tasked Lavrov with changing it back to what the agreement was with Trump and Trump's people, and so forth. And I see that Putin has a very clear idea in his mind of how things are supposed to go, and they they own the guy and such, and so they feel that the narrative around this meeting and the war is not in their favor. This is a big picture here, and also, so Putin took the opportunity to like of this thing failing, the Budapest meeting failing, as a way to punish Lavrov and to sort of scapegoat Lavrov. I'm not saying that Lavrov is great. No, he's not. But it's not. It's not. It's just a huge situation, and it's you can't just uh, make the U.S., which has supported Ukraine, switch to Russia's side without risk to the people here. The people that we all know, he's paid and all that, but it's extremely risky. So, so I see, but Putin is not rational. Like it's interesting, right? They say that women are emotional, but they are all very irrational. And I see that they have behind the scenes pushed, they have called, they have put things on the internet, threats and such, but they have been unable to change the situation. And what it shows me, that guy Kobe, Edwin, I forgot, Eldridge Kobe, the blonde guy who is clearly owned by Lavrov, and how come they were able, like Putin doesn't understand why they allowed this whole. You don't remember how the decision making went to NATO instead of going to Kobe, the decision making about Ukraine. I made a video just about that a couple of weeks ago, I think. So So this is the thing. And I see that Putin knows that they can't win. They can't win the war without the US support, broadly speaking. Because it's saying for him, it's a propaganda effort, yes, but you have to actually deliver something. And they're losing a lot. And some of these new sanctions have hurt them. And I see that they're like, I don't understand. Putin is saying, I don't understand. We have all the chips, we have all the cards. Why are we letting them get away with it? And then I see that Lavrov's like, no, it's going to take a little longer. It's a matter of time. And no, we're almost there. We really are. And so, but so where I see he's hiding and he's afraid. He's hiding somewhere Zadasha, I don't know if it's Dasha, the name of their country house, that style of country house they have over there in Russia. But I see that he has curtains drawn. It's sort of like a darkish room. I don't know if it's a hotel, but and I see that he's very tired. I think he might also be sick. He looked like he was sick the other day. And also, but he hears steps and he gets really nervous because, he thinks that, oh my God, they're going to come to get me, kill me or whatever. So, and I see how's drinking whiskey because he's really nervous. Okay. And he has a computer. I mean, he's not banished. He's not in prison or something, but Putin it's like he wants a new face. He wants a new, like a new, like a no conversation. Like he's upset and he definitely wants to scapegoat Lavrov, and he's preparing to, if it, in his mind, I think Putin is saying, if Lavrov continues, then he's going to have to be sacrificed and blamed, right? Because with all these men that are narcissistic, psychopaths, nothing is ever their fault. They are perfect. It's everybody else that is a problem. So, wow. Okay. So, so this is it. So, let's see. Let's see the cards. Okay, this is interesting, right? And then yeah, let me just get the cards because there is a lot of interesting information all the interesting questions I asked here, and things that came up that I think are related to Trump. But let me show you this first. So I asked the question, what's going on with this story about Lavrov? And this is a card I picked ahead of time, the mature man. And we have the King of Wands upside down. This could be him. And what's interesting here is we have here the woman card and then desire. Now, here, it almost looks like the woman, but it's the card is usually another, like in Kipper, it's the expectation card. Because the German word Sehnsucht, I don't know why I'm going by it's a little different. It's more like longing than desire. So I think um, it's like, um, okay, that's just my sense. So somebody could be waiting for something. And then now, okay, so this is this the row. All right, now this row here is the Page of Swords. It tends to relate to spies or like intellectual, like fighting, intellectual discussion, debate. Here is the government. The card of the Tower is the government or institution of some sort. The love, something related to love of values. What I think is interesting here is that the repetition to me here of this here, and even here, even let's say we choose to interpret this as desire itself, to me, it shows there may be a woman involved, some kind of spy woman related to like some, almost like as if Putin put a woman to seduce him, or a woman who is like, you know, uh, like doesn't have his best interest in mind. Not that, in that situation, what do you don't have a choice, right? Between like who does that, right? Like you can't, it's like Putin or nothing or die. So now here, the last column I'm going to talk about is here. Let's see. You have the Seven of Swords on top. Okay. Here, which is a card of treachery, doing something underhanded. Now, the anchor means for a long time or permanent. Okay. Either a long time or permanent. And then you have the death card. So to me, it feels like either that there's somebody around Lavrov that has been betraying him for a long time, or that he might be accused of betraying Putin for a long time. Doesn't make sense. And here we have the woman in the institution for a long time, or has been with him for a long time. So to me, it feels like, and when I read this, psychically, I guess, it feels a bit like there is, okay, another, I just picked next to it, I pulled some clarification cards to understand it better. Right. So there's something long term going on here. And then when we look at this, like, look again, this card is a card of unexpected joy, but it's also a card of surprise, something that is surprising. It could be, it's usually there's another card, in the other system, it's called unexpected money, but it means both surprise and money. It could be either or both. Then we have your surprise that is a misfortune. And here we have jealousy. Now also jealousy it means like madness. Doesn't make sense. It's sort of like a person who has crazed up emotions. Okay. It could also, sometimes it could be mean professional jealousy. I don't think it is. I think it's just intensity and something related to um, a relationship, perhaps. Okay. But again, unexpected misfortune related to jealousy or feelings of like you have wronged me or something like that, right? That would be that. And then next to it we have the 16 card, which is the on the top row. The stars, it's like whatever it is that you want, your dream. It could also mean satellites, right? And then the White House year. So a surprise about either what they want from the White House or satellites related to the White House or home or his home. Then we have misfortune deal and the a judgment. So somebody decided to do something to him because it was planned, right? That's what it feels like when you have the ring here. And there was an assessment made about his performance in some way. Okay. And that was decided. Then we have your jealousy, and next to it, we have a guilt. So people are really angry at what he has done. And what's interesting here, the tarot cards are to me very interesting in this one because you have that like it looks very positive, right? It's the house is happy, and we have made a we have come to terms with whatever it is that happens, and then we're all happy together. So in a way, it suggests that the goal, like even though obviously there's an agenda here to do something to him, it's like Putin probably wants some sort of pacification or like pacification, I mean amongst his people, right? That like that, oh, we're all happy together. I have to clean house kind of feeling. Okay. So that's that. And then I asked about um now what does that say about Putin? Okay. And why, why would Putin do that? Let me ask again another. Okay, so then I asked, okay, then the next one is about um there's another one about the White House, but why did Putin do that? Right. All right. So okay. So I chose the Emperor card to signify Putin. Then we have a message, lie, lies. The cat usually represents lies, and sickness or rest. And it's funny because the room that I saw him in, the Lavrov, in looked like, a bit like that. So a message about a lying message leads to banishment, right? That's what I think. But then Putin always lies. So something about it um, that was discovered or that something's coming out. Like I don't think that Lavrov may be lying. I think the whole talking points of Putin and Lavrov is lies. So it has something to do with what Putin wants to hear, right? Wants to be public and not the truth. Then we have your hangman. Now, hangman is funny though. It's kind of creepy when I think about Russia, but it's like he has to wait, or it's like paused. He can't do anything about it. And the hermit upside down means it could mean a crazed, isolated person, but also dark secrets that are coming out, something dark going on. And then strength. And then, of course, we know that Putin is all about projecting a position of strength. Then we have here heart, friend, treachery. Again, it's interesting, right? It's like I said before, there's something relationship related here. It could be that they're very close, Putin and Lavrov, and that Putin feels betrayed. But then Putin is crazy, right? We know that. So you see the letter about having to wait about something important to him or to them, lies, and then things coming out about somebody that is an ally, then a person having to sit out, really, because it's important to project strength. And this was a treacherous thing that I think Putin did. In a way, we could, of course, have to remember that he was doing things to people. It's not just, um, it's not just this part. Okay, now the last thing I asked because I thought this is such a big development because I think as far as I remember, Lavrov has always been around from forever since Putin started meddling with all of it. So he's around all of this. This is a huge shift, right? If it continues. So the question is, what will Putin do about Trump? Okay, I asked this question. And then let's see here. Here I have the emperor, right? Because to me signifies it's escalating in a way, right? So it's if he's doing something to Lavrov, who's a very close ally of his, I can only imagine what he may be planning to do about Trump. Then we have the first card here, the uh, five of wands upside down. That means fat, it's usually about fighting, but when it's upside down, it means usually like factions. There's already the divisions have already happened. So, and here, Hierophant, that's the priest that is tradition, or when it's upside down, it could mean rebellion or groups that are separate groups. And there's something that Russia does a lot, right? They do a lot of this, like, you know, false, like, agents, right? A subversion, technically, and sabotage and stuff like that. And then we have here a card of creating in it. That's the 10 of swords. 10 of swords are a scary looking picture, creating an ending. So he's going to activate the factions that are rebellious. They're going to fight against the establishment, Trump's establishment, right? And to create an ending. Then there's this card of the Lenormand, Glover, opportunity, luck. The mice at the center is stress or hacking. An opportunity to stress the White House, to create stress or loss for the White House, right? And at the bottom, we have again the card of loss. Now, I've seen enough of these cards, these types of cards, right? This is a system that is similar, like I said, to the other Italian system of cards. And this card of loss is also a card of gambling. Even though it's translated as loss, it's also a card of a gamble. So I don't I just I see the card as more a gamble than loss, but definitely Putin has gambled on Trump. And here the thought now, uh, like he gambled. It was an idea that he gambled on, and then we have a baby here, new person for a new person, a new beginning, right? And so again, let me go back to the big picture, and we have painful ending, right, for the White House and the new beginning, right? So it was a gamble. I think in other words, Putin is realizing he's lost the gamble. He gambled, gambling, high risk and such, right? He took a big risk for a new beginning, and he was realizing this is a scary like prospect, right? That let's see, let me ask. So what is Putin if he's doing this to Lavrov? What will he do to Trump? Okay, so is it making it just stop, stop, stop? I'm gonna And it doesn't say, I don't see a word coming from him, but I'm reading it. I'm getting the words in my ear saying, I built you up, I can take you down. And I see that he rips a piece of paper as if, oh, you're trash. I put you in trash. That is where you belong. I was in charge of you. I am master of puppet. I'm master of you. I master your puppeteering. Now it's time for a story to end because I am ending. Sorry, you're not going to live beyond me. Wow, how interesting. That makes sense, actually. I don't think that I don't think he's gonna unalive, T, but I think it's interesting. So, all right, okay. So I am gonna go. Okay, and thank you for watching, and talk to you later.